If you're a user of the thinkorswim desktop application, you're probably already familiar with charts, familiar with the grid functionality, but you might not be as familiar with the flexible grid. So today we're going to spend a little time getting familiar with the flexible grid. Now, before we do, please remember that none of the symbols we use here should be considered recommendations in any way. The entire conversation is for your information and your education. Now, come with me to the upper left corner here of the thinkorswim desktop application where I've clicked on Flexible Grid. Now, before we can really get to customizing, we need to activate that ability. So next to my Actions menu, I have the drop down for Grid Actions. I'm going to click that, select the Customize Grid, and that then gives me this box in the center of my screen. Now, immediately what you'll notice is I've got two boxes available, and they are plus signs with an indication of whether I would like to add a new section above or below this one, or to the right or left of this one. So, for example, I'll click it once, and now I've got two clear, distinct sections. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to maximize this cell, and by doing so, when I put a symbol in here, it's going to give me some tools available. You might recognize this banner along the right rail. And the first thing I'm going to select here is, for our purposes, just Active Trader, which is going to really give me a clean visual of the current bid and offer and an opportunity to enter trade details. Not just trade details, like I can definitely buy at market or sell at market. I can also choose to customize the buttons here by clicking the gear icon, as you can see, so I can change my order types pretty quickly here. But I can also have these quick buttons in as well. And I found these for my purposes, and for many of you traders who are equity traders specifically, you might find these quick navigation buttons helpful and easy way to build your orders very quickly. So regardless of whether we're going to utilize the AT button or not, I wanted you to know it's available as one of your options. Now, you could fall back and utilize something like the standard buttons here for order entry if you'd prefer. That would allow you to eliminate the active trader, for example. These buttons will cover a lot of the same detail, of course, but it'll make your process as simple as you really want it to be. Now, we have maximized this tool for this section, so let's go ahead and revert, and you'll see now we've got just that one box there with that one tool. Now, down below us, we need to define this tool now. So before we do that, I'm going to change my link icon. Let's make it orange here, and that changes all of a sudden to Apple. We're going to go back to NVIDIA, and we're going to then once more change this to orange, so everything links up. Now, this tool navigated to it on its own. I'm going to change that. Once again, I'm going to maximize the cell. I'm going to unclick the AT button, and I'm going to instead select the option chain, OC. So now it is going to load for me the entire list of option chains available on NVIDIA. Now, one consideration, especially for the trader who might be the one utilizing flexible grid, it's maybe more important to customize this as well, so we can filter the individual types of options we're looking for. There might not be a need to see options that run the time frame of 1 week all the way out to 3 years. So let's be a little discerning here. Let's go ahead and change a few things. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say show me only call options. That's of course not to suggest that I am only bullish, but rather I want to minimize my process. I want to refine it to a very comfortable level for exactly what I'm trying to accomplish. I want to also maybe incorporate a time frame. So if you're the trader who never puts yourself in an option position, for example, longer than 2 weeks, then we can just designate the maximum days to expiration as 14. And then that greatly reduces the number of series that we get available to us here. Okay, so now when I go ahead and open this back up, or rather minimize the cell, I'm looking at a breakdown that is not as lengthy in time, right? Now, I can also go about adding more space. What else might I want in here? Let's add this one to the left or right, and let's see if this is going to help me out. Oh, okay, I can go in here back to my maximize. Oops, there we go. Right here, maximize cell. Put and make this one NVIDIA as well by changing to orange. And there, those buttons are loaded. What instead of button, I have a chart. Ah, great. So now, how about one of my shorter term charts? Maybe I want it to go back to my default stuff. So I'm going to my style where it holds all of my color schemes. I'm going to go to Kevin's style there. All right, now I'm looking at my daily chart, but if I'm that speedy trader, maybe I want to go with something more like a 2-day, 5-minute chart. And I've got some of those details in here, right? Now I could apply my standard studies like I normally would, loading my 5-day, 5-minute study set. There's that, giving me my pivot points. And again, I'm building from what is the maximized version of this tool, right? In the ability here, to go ahead and minimize the cell with the revert arrow. Now I've got that chart right here, okay? Now, what about another area to add? How about I bring in some news to the mix? Down below, I'm going to, instead of adding it here and minimizing my chart space, I'm going to add it down below where I clearly have a little more space than I know what to do with, right? I can shrink this space down. What about shrinking this to the left? Making this nice and clean here for my order entry. So now I've got order entry in a tight box, right? I've got option chains down below. I've got a 5-day, 5-minute chart ready to go that I can visually see. And if I want to make sure I've got news, I'm going to go ahead and click the plus sign down here and then change this link to orange. And now I'm going to maximize this cell, remove option chain, and select live news. Now I've got live news for NVIDIA. I'll revert back, and now I have what might be a proper setup for myself. Not to suggest that it's the only way you might go about setting this up, of course, but I hope what we have highlighted is a little bit of the step-by-step that'll make this easier. So we've activated our customize box here, right? Let's go ahead and deactivate that now. I'm going back in here. I'm going to uncheck the customize grid. Now I'm going to save my flexible grid as. I'm going to give this a name. So let's consider this to be perhaps a short-term trader. Okay, so I'm bringing this bar over. Here we go, short-term trader. I will hit save, and then you'll notice not only does it title it here, but it makes it available to me in my drop down, and so I can quickly navigate between these. Now, as a reminder, one of the things I did here was to incorporate exclusively calls. So if I wanted, I could title this one short-term trader calls. Then I can change this to, instead of calls, puts. I could then retitle it short-term puts, right? And then I can open these on multiple windows and have the same view, one monitor for calls, one monitor for puts, if that were a process that I wanted to take advantage of. So there's a lot of functionality here, of course, available in the thinkorswim desktop application, and Flexible Grid is just one more way that we can get this tool to be offering us all of what we want and none of what we don't. Continue to follow me on X at Kevin Horner CS, and make sure you're subscribed to the Schwab YouTube coaching channel that we call Trader Talks.